The book of Isaiah, chapters 54 through 66, the future glory for God's people. In studying this section, 1. To conclude our study of Isaiah with a look at the future glory promised for God's people. 2. To note the inclusion of Gentiles in the fulfillment of this promise. 3. To consider how this promise relates to the first coming of Christ with the inauguration of the Messianic age, but also how it may look forward to when the Lord's reign is culminated at the end of time, following his second coming, the resurrection of the dead, and the judgment day. We come to the last section of the book of Isaiah, chapters 54 through 66. It contains more words of comfort designed especially for the Babylonian captivities who would experience God's judgment foretold in the first half of the book. The focus is mostly on the future glory for God's people, yet also with a reminder that their present shame, captivity, was due to their own wickedness. The future splendor of Zion is the theme of 54:1 through 56:8. Though barren in her present condition of captivity, the Lord promises to show mercy and a covenant of peace to the faithful remnant. An invitation is given to all who thirst, and people are encouraged to seek the Lord while he may be found if they desire joy and peace. Participation in the future glory of Zion is offered also to righteous Gentiles who will be given a place in the house of God and in his holy mountain. The future glory of Zion pertains to the age of the Messiah, inaugurated with the first coming of Christ and the proclamation of the gospel beginning in Jerusalem. See Luke 24:44 through 47 and Hebrews 12:22 through 24. The captives in Babylon are then reminded of the conditions that led to her downfall and the contrition that will lead to her restoration, 56:9 through 59:21. Her watchmen, religious leaders, had failed in their duties, and the death of the righteous became a blessing because it removed them from such evil. Their idolatry had profited them nothing and cost them everything. Yet those who were humbled and contrite would experience God's mercy if they would cast away their hypocritical formalism and return to true religion. Rebuking them for their sins, Isaiah then joins them in confessing their sins. In response, the Lord promises salvation through a Redeemer who will come to Zion, and to those who turn from their transgressions. Again, this is looking forward not just to their restoration from Babylonian captivity, but also to the coming of Jesus Christ, who will bring full redemption through his blood. See Romans 11:26 through 27. The final 7 chapters, 60 through 66, concentrate on the glory to come for restored Zion. Her light will come, and even Gentiles will come, contributing their wealth to the glory provided by the Lord. The mission of the servant, Christ, is reviewed, who will come to rebuild and restore, prompting Isaiah to express great joy for his salvation. The Lord promises not to rest until that time comes, and thus appoints watchmen who are charged not to give him rest until he makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Following a brief look back at the judgment on Edom and the Lord's mercy on Israel in the past, Isaiah offers a prayer for the present condition of Israel, and the Lord responds with a promise of glorious new creation for the remnant who heed his call. The promise involves new heavens and a new earth, with Jerusalem as a rejoicing, depicted in terms that would be especially comforting to the people in Babylonian captivity. The prophecy of Isaiah ends with a chapter containing a reminder that the Lord looks favorably upon the poor and contrite in spirit who tremble at his word, repeating the promises to come for Jerusalem and the end of the wicked, again framed in terms to comfort the captives in Babylon. I believe much of this section was fulfilled with the inauguration of the Messianic age in the first coming of Christ. Yet, in view of the words of Peter, 2 Peter 3:13-14, and the vision of John in Revelation 21 and 22, Isaiah may have also looked forward to the future glory of Zion, spiritual Israel, the church, to be experienced in the culmination of the Messiah's reign at the end of time, following the resurrection and final judgment. The difference is that Isaiah couched his description of the new heavens and new earth in terms to which the Babylonian captives could easily relate, while John was shown the eternal destiny of God's people in pictures especially comforting to the persecuted Christians of the 1st century A.D. This ends our study of the book of Isaiah, chapters 1 through 66.